Okay, well, welcome back. We're going to go right into the interview that David and I had with skipper Earl Weaver. I got a kick out of some of the quotes there with Jim Palmer, and I know you guys had a little spit-spat every once in a while, but Jim mentioned that the only thing that Earl knows about a curveball is he couldn't hit the damn thing. Is that true?
Yeah, well, it might be true, but Palmer stole that line from Dave McNally, so he's using something that he shouldn't be using. But at any rate, yeah, we were together 17 years, and
wow, that's a long time.
I don't know how many confrontations there were through those 17 years, but it seemed like it all turned out fine.
Great. I've got my co-host David Spada on the phone. He couldn't make it in studio. He's doing a little hospital run right now. David, you there?
Yeah, Earl, I want to ask you, who was your favorite player to manage in your 20-some years managing?
You can't ask me that question. I had a guy named Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken Jr., Jim Palmer, all in the Hall of Fame. And then the people that made the team, along with all of those people, I want to name Paul Blair, Boog Powell, Donnie Buford, Mark Belanger. It was just a great ball club that we had assembled in the late 60s, early 70s.
Wow, that's fantastic. I like one of your quotes here. You said the key to winning baseball games is pitching, fundamentals, and 3-run homers.
Definitely. You left out defense.
Oh, yeah, a little defense in there, too. Boy, I tell you. Well, how do you see this year shaping up here? You obviously follow baseball still pretty close to the vest?
Not as close as you might think, but very interested. I follow the Orioles as much as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of ball games to watch on television, but, it's different teams. I'm not real familiar with all the players. The game is still the same, as it always was.
Mm-hmm.
The only change I see is the pitchers only going 6-7 innings, with the setup men and the closers. We had our closers, but if a pitcher could go 9, he went 9. There was one year when we had the 4 20-game winners all on one team. We had 78 complete games. Now, there won't be 78 complete games if you take both leagues and put them together.
No kidding. That's right.
There just won't be. And I miss that great pitching, watching a guy go 9 innings and getting the ground balls and the pop-ups and outsmarting the hitters. I had great pitching, and when you talk about the 3-run homer, we only needed one 3-run homer with the pitching I had and the defense I had. And today, if you want to win a ball game, you better hit 3-run homers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Earl,
real quick, I see you had Brooks Robinson. He's in the Hall of Fame. We had Ron Santo here in Chicago. There's a lot of talk that people say Santo was just as good defensively, was a better hitter. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Do you have any opinions on that?
Yeah, Ron Santo should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think there's any doubt about it. If you compare stats and with other third basemen that are in there, now you're not going to, you take Mike Schmidt with his 560 or however many he had, and there's a couple that stand out offensively, very much so. But Santo was an all-around ball player. It's just a crying shame that he hasn't been voted in each and every year. That the Hall of Famers are allowed to vote. And he's had my vote every time, and he's had a lot of votes. He's come very, very close. And, yes, if you compare the stats with Brooksy, I didn't get to see, and he was in the National League, and I'm comparing his stats. Brooks was just, I don't know how anybody could be as good as he was defensively. And I'm not slighting Santo at all because, he was there all those years, and he had his statistics, but yes, he's a guy that does belong in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Ron is really beloved here in Chicago. I've known Ron the 33 years that I've been here in Chicago, and of course he shares the booth with one of my neighbors, Pat Hughes, that does play-by-play for the Cubs. But yeah, you know what? I think eventually he should get voted in, I suppose. And there's a lot of pros and cons about it, but I'd love to have him in there. But, going back to you, Earl, is 97 ejections. Whoa. And that, according to the Wikipedia here, that's an American League record.
It sure is. Don't come close to Cox or the other one that who's going way back.
Right.
But 97.
Yep.
If you take it over 17 years, it's less than one a month, I think.
Give me one of your most memorable ones. I know you had a bunch here, but can you? I saw the one where you threw the rule book back to the umpire and said you couldn't read Braille.
No. The thing there was he had missed a play in the previous year's World Series. It was when Armbruster bunted and ran into Fisk.
Mm-hmm.
The umpire got it in place of interference. He called it obstruction. At any rate, he got the play wrong.
Sure.
We had the same umpire in Cleveland the following year. The same play came up with my player and one of the Cleveland players. I ran out on the field. I said, "Now, Larry, you missed it in the World Series. You're missing it here." He said, "No, I didn't miss it in the World." I said, "I'll go get the rule book, and we'll see who's right." He said, "No, you don't. You're not bringing no rule book out on the field." Well, my third base coach, Billy Hunter, had already got it. He was on his way out with it. I started to open the pages, and he said, "Earl, you open that page, you're out of here." I said, "Well, I figured that." He said, "I don't care what that book says anyway. We're playing by my rules." And I said, "Well, if we're playing by your rules, there ain't no sense in us having this book." So I started tearing it up page by page and throwing it on the field.
Oh, jeez.
Incredible. Earl, you had Cal Ripken when he was a rookie.
Yeah, I broke him in as a rookie, yes.
Did you ever dream that this guy would become what he did in his career?
Well, I thought once I moved him over to shortstop from third base, I thought he would become a Hall of Famer. I said that all along.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that people are finally finding out. The best player on a high school team, college too probably for that fact, is the kid that plays shortstop and also pitches.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the best athlete on the field at the time. And they used to want small guys, to play shortstop, get on base guys. There's nothing wrong with having Jeter hit home runs or Ripken hit all the home runs that he hit, or now Ramirez here in Florida. Those are the kind of ball players that make a ball club, because it used to be a defensive position. Now it's both. It's both an offensive and defensive position. But at any rate, yes, once he got on shortstop, you knew he was going to hit his 20 to 30 home runs a year. I'll tell you something about Ripken. Forget Lou Gehrig's record. This man played shortstop a whole year, led the league in putouts and assists, and only made 3 errors. That record's never going to be broken.
That's incredible.
That is the most incredible thing. You think of how many errors a shortstop. I think Ozzie, who's in the Hall of Fame, his least amount of errors was 9. I think my shortstop, Belanger, who was just outstanding, his least amount of errors was 9. Ozzie played on carpet. Ripken played on dirt. It's just unreal.
Yeah.
He wasn't flashy, though, but, he got it done, and he was a hard worker, and he did it clean.
He wasn't classy, no, but here's the thing. He led the league in putouts and assists.
Wow.
So he got to everything.
That's incredible. Hey, we just got a couple more minutes here, Earl, and man, I tell you, David, I really appreciate you taking some time to talk with us and to our listening audience, and it's just with all those ejections you had, and I know those are obviously that's because you probably disagreed with the umpire. Now let's take, for instance, yesterday with the Cubs, where that was totally blown. That guy in the outfield, center fielder, dropped the ball. Okay, what do you think about instant replay in baseball? Do you think there should be an umpire in a booth that just strictly watches things like that and has a little radio transmitter down to some of the umps down there, because it looks like they can't see?
Well, that's true, and their job is to get it right. And why didn't they confer on that play with each other?
They never confer because the umpires don't want to show each other up. They're afraid
Well, I've had them change the call every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do it often. I saw the replay. Yeah, the man dropped the ball. Is it going to be good for baseball? You have to have it in a World Series. You can't have a World Series decided on it. In fact, you have to have it in the playoffs because, if you worked all year to get there, and you just can't have, and I've watched it 4 or 5 times in the last 15 years where a blown call has decided a World Series.
Absolutely.
It definitely did. I was the benefactor of one. I know you're running out of time, but it was when my catcher, Elrod Hendricks, tagged the runner coming in at home plate with the glove and had the ball in the other hand.
And he called him out.
And he called him out, and we went on to win the game. It was against Cincinnati. Sparky liked to went crazy, but they're blown calls.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
who was the toughest manager you ever managed?
One of the worst was when the fan in Chicago reached over and grabbed the ball.
Oh, yeah, back in the 03 season.
Kept them right out. You got to have it in playoffs and World Series.
Yeah,
I think you have to have it.
Right. Hey, Earl, we really appreciate your time. And, boy, I tell you, I see you got your 80th birthday coming up this year. You sound great. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You sound really good, and hope many, many more years, and hopefully we can get you back on during the season.
All right. All right.
Okay, thanks, Earl.
Thank you, Earl.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.